Yeah. So
Okay.
hi everyone. Navneet and Sukriti, can you just switch on your videos?
Ekam,
Yes.
I don't think so. My video is taking some time, so I'll just start it after like a few minutes. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Uh,
Navneet,
I don't think so. I'll be able to switch on my video today.
okay, that's fine. So actually, Navneet, I think you're a bit laggy, so it's fine if you switch off your video.
Yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
it's both of us.
Okay. So first things first, can open. By the way, today we're going to be giving you guys like a final challenge on conditional statements since we're done with conditional statements. But for now, we're just going to be discussing the solution for the previous exercise we gave you. So can everyone just open it up because you'll be covering the solution now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just opening.
Just keep it ready in front of you, and then you can just correct any mistakes that you've made.
Done.
Okay. Let me just share my screen. So Sukriti, have you opened it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now we can begin. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need first of all, as you guys might remember, in this code we're using the random library, right? So the first step is to import random. It's not written, but that is the first step. So now that we've done that, we can begin with the steps specified. So we need to introduce the user to what this code achieves, right? So the best way to do it is print hi.
One thing. I'll just introduce you guys to a new another library known as time. Now you wouldn't want, like, when you open the program, when you start running the program, you wouldn't want to just directly you want okay, so you wouldn't want to see like so many messages come just popping up one after the other with no time to read. Right? You want to have some time. You need to have some wait. Right? So wait. That's what the wait library does. It gives a pause or a break between each statement.
So the more specifically, it's called time.sleep, and that gives you a bit of a rest specified in seconds. So can everyone just write this line of code, import time? Again, it's not necessary, but it's really useful in codes when you just don't want to present the user with like a whole huge bulk of.
That's what we call user friendliness or user experience.
Okay, yeah. So can everyone just write?
Wait, what's import time again?
Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat?
What's import time again?
So right now we're importing the library time, and we'll be showing you how to use it to add a rest in a second. So just right now we're in this line of code importing.
I think what you can do is you first write on the print statements and show them how it would be outputted, and then you can introduce time.
So everyone just write the statement. Let's not utilize it, and then we'll show you like how much better it generally is. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're saying, hi, welcome to the online guessing game, right? Simple enough. Then maybe, for a bit of user friendliness, we can just maybe ask them their name, like name is equal to a string variable. Sorry, no, what am I saying? String input. Sorry, what's your name, right? Simple enough. And then we can just say hi name. Then we can print out the name. So it's for a bit of user friendliness. So let's just run this, right? And so as you can see, when the first line of code is printed out, it just automatically prints out anything, right? It just automatically prints it out. There's no break. Like when you type in your input, right? Let's type in my name. It's just going to straight away come, right? So it's kind of annoying how everything just comes at the same time, and it's generally not a good experience when you have to. Right now, it's just a small piece of code, right? But say when you're writing an adventure time code, right? You could be doing that. The huge bursts of code will come at once, and that can become really annoying. Say the user wants to read it, it'll be difficult, right? So using this time library, we can add a bit of a rest. So to actually execute it, first of all, you write when you want the rest to happen. So right now we want the rest to happen after line 12. After we say, hi, welcome to the online guessing game, we want to put a rest, maybe about half a second to a second, right? So what you do is in between these two things that are print out, you need to write time. So we're saying this is the library from which I want to access it. And
Basically, referencing the library you've imported, which is the time library.
As you can see, it's become orange, showing that we're utilizing it. And the function we're using is, first of all, you need to put a dot, then you need to put sleep. And as you can see right over here, it says seconds. So here,
Just one thing.
is
So sleep is basically a property or it's like a command which is inbuilt in which is like a part of the library known as time. So it's like an inbuilt command and you're referencing to it. So that's how you can actually access it.
just one thing. So about that, what this basically, how you basically utilize the library is you call upon a library. So you're saying this is the library, and as you can see, the formatting for this is kind of similar to a function, right? It's like if you had a function called add, right? You put add bracket and you put the parameters. So it is actually that you're taking a certain file or certain library and you're accessing functions in that. That's how you utilize the library. And the syntax is name of library dot name of function, and in the brackets you can put in the value. In this case, say we want to break off 0.5 seconds, one or maybe 1 second, right? Let's run this and see what happens. So hi, welcome to the online guessing game, and it takes a second to print it, so just the user can read it. Let's just run it again. Hi, welcome to the online guessing game. A bit of a break, and then you can read it, and then you can type in your name. Then you can put it again here, maybe here a little bit shorter, 0.5. It's just something useful you can have in your code. It's not necessary, but it can be really useful for the user. So that's just something to add on. So if you guys want, you can add this to your code. I'll give you guys a second just to add this to your code, wherever you think there might have been huge bulks of length. Or
Do we also need to ask the user's name?
it's not necessary, it's just something you might want to add just like that, but you don't need to. It's fine if you don't. So I think just continue the solution.
So, okay.
Yeah, Sabat?
I was just gonna go into user friendliness, but I don't think it's like really important right now.
Okay. So right now, let's get on to the second step, right? So what we need to do now is we need to ask the user something. We need to ask them, I have a number in my mind, try to guess it. But the first thing we need to do is we actually need to define a number, right? So using that, we're going to use the randint value. We're going to use the random library. So what we're going to do is we're going to assign a variable. Let's call it num is equal to random dot randint, and here we can specify our range. Our range is 1 and 3, right? So it's right now let's just say a range of 1 to 20. That should be enough. Right, I'm not going to cover the difficulties part. It's not necessary, just a challenge we gave you. But for right now, we just take one difficulty just so we can get past this quickly. So right,
I think for demonstration purposes right now, I think the best option can be just take 1 to 5 since it's the range is also really small, so you can.
okay, so we can just check if it's correct. Okay, so what we've done here is we've assigned a variable between the range of 1 to 5, right? It's going to pick out a random number. We can't know what it is. The only thing we know is it's in that specific range. So that's done. Now we need to ask the user to guess it. So to do that, we're going to assign a variable called guess is equal to int input, and then we can use this line that we have here. I have a number in my mind, try to guess. Let's paste that in. Let's just add quotation marks here. There you go. So what we're doing here is we're telling the user, try to guess it. It seems like someone is trying to join.
Jed.
That's fine. Jay, basically right now, wait, yeah, let me connect to audio. Jay, hi. So basically, you're a little bit late, but we're just covering the solution to the previous exercise. So you can just correct whatever we're doing from here on, and what the previous parts you can just do it in the. It's not necessary for the rest of the class, but you can just watch it in the YouTube video. Is that okay? So right now we've assigned a variable called guess. Now we're going to be using a while, right? So the first thing we're going to do is say while guess is not equal to num, right? So if num is different, then we're going to do this. Okay.
Now you can take various different approaches to this, like the various approaches that you can take. But then we'll be showing you one of those approaches.
Again, as obviously, yeah, as Sabat said, it is, you can use different ways, but right now we specified while loop, so and it's more or less a while loop progress exercise, so we'll be using that. So while guess is not equal to num, what we want to, now we know that it's not equal to num, right? So you got to ask them again. But say you, as you can see here, um, while the value is not equal to the answer, then do the following. If the number is higher, then print the number is higher. If the number is lower, print the number is lower. Now, there's actually two ways you can actually do this. I think one that Sukriti just sent me just to check is another way to do this is you can actually just have separate while loops. But right now we're just going to be putting everything in a while loop, and we'll be having if else if else statements. So if um, guess is say greater, sorry, if guess is, yeah, if guess is greater than num, print the number is low. Maybe here, maybe you can just again add a time dot sleep 0.5, and we can copy this and put it here before it prints the next statement. Okay, so print the number is lower, right? That's good. Then we can add an elif statement. So elif, or we can just add an else statement since there's no other possibility. Else print the number is higher. Now that we've done all this, what we want to do is we want to repeat, right, until the user can actually guess the number. So we're going to be taking this input again, and we're going to be putting it again here, right here. It's in the while loop, so guess, and then the value of guess changes, and there you go. Then we're going to go out of the while loop, right? So once you go out of the while loop, what's going to happen? We're going to write if guess is equal to num, print. Then what we can do is we can print correct answer. And that's it. That's all that you need to do. Let's run this, just check if there's any errors. And yeah, Sabat, you don't see any errors with this, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's just run it just to confirm that we got it correct. I'll just say my name. Greets me, Haika. That's it. Okay, so now we have a number. So let's say the number is 5, and we got the correct answer. Just to confirm that the code is not glitchy, we can just print out this num, just to make sure that if we put another value, is it going to do it correctly? Print num. Okay, let's run this. Right now we know the value is 5. Let's say I want to put 3. It's going to say the number is higher. Then if I put 5, it works. So that's great. That's basically the code. And yeah, so can you guys just check if your code works?
And if your code's a bit different, or if you have some doubts in your code or in our code, just feel free to just tell us right now.
Just for a bit of user friendliness, I guess we can just put print. Yeah, so print out a blank line just to make sure there's nothing that's annoying. Then we can put.
I'm having an attribute error.
What does it mean? What is it saying?
It says module random has no attribute rand in.
Have you imported random? Have you imported it?
Yeah, I have.
And are you sure you haven't made a misspelling? Random.r.
Oh wait, I made the I capital. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure there's, because it's case sensitive.
Yeah. Okay.
Python is case sensitive, so just keep that in mind.
Okay, so if I run this, I can just check, if it's a little bit smoother, with like more spaces and stuff. Okay, I have a number on my mind. Try to guess it. 3. As you can see, it puts a space, just to make the code a little bit neater. 5 and 4. It isn't necessary again, but just try to put in your code, just to make it look nicer. And no need to add this print num line. We were just doing it so we can verify if the code works. Did anyone here add the difficulties? Like maybe an easy, difficult, easy, medium, hard. Did anyone add that? Sukriti,
No.
no? Okay, that's fine. It was just an exception.
No, I didn't either.
Okay, it's fine. Maybe you guys can work on that in case you guys have
Can
need.
you can you go a bit down?
Sure, Navneet.
Okay, thank you.
Queries on this code, or is it?
No. No.
So everyone, just tell us when you're done.
Do you have any queries? Because like you joined in a bit late, so do you have any queries?
Jay, do you want us to maybe explain the time library to you while everyone is doing the other work?
Yeah, I was a little confused with the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, Sabad, I'll explain it, right? So basically, when you're doing a code, sometimes everything just prints out in a huge bulk, right? Like everything prints out at once. It can get kind of annoying for the user. So there's a time library that you can use, and there's a specific function in it, which you can use to add like a bit of a rest between two tasks being executed, just to give the user a little bit of time to read. Now, to use the time library, first of all, you need to import it. Port.
Take a maybe for like just for demonstration, you can like remove all the times, all the time dot, then you can
I
actually
all this.
just comment it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, okay. I'll just delete it. It's fine. Yeah, okay. So if I run this and you see what happens, right? Everything's printing out in a bar. Like it doesn't give the user any time to read. Just says straight away, just goes. There's no pause. Just gets kind of annoying. So using time.sleep. Now let me just. So basically, the how you write the function is it's this time dot sleep, and then in brackets you put the amount of seconds you want a break for. So it's a pretty simple syntax between two lines. So before we want this to print, we want a time.sleep. So that's what we do. Jay, can you maybe try it?
Can you go down a bit?
Sure, Navneet. Navneet, no need to change your code as long as your code works. It doesn't have to be same for same. As long as it works, this is just a bit of a way we can just.
No, I have my code, but I just want to type this too.
Which one? If guess equal to num.
No, yeah, I just typed this same code because I have another code. That's why.
Oh, okay. When you upload it, can you just upload your other code? Like when
Okay.
to the site.
Okay.
Can you go a little up?
Sure, Jay. Is this okay or maybe a little bit lower?
Yeah, that's okay.
Eka, I think you can upload the code on the chat.
Yeah. No, I don't think it fit on the chat.
Or you can let me know. And the formatting also may change, so it's fine.
I think I can put it on the WhatsApp group. Is that fine with everyone?
What about the forum?
On the forum, we normally just don't like upload sample codes. So I think it's just better if we put it on the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it. Everyone can just see from that. You get. Is it fine if everyone does it later? Because we just want to cover another part, on one more last part of conditional statements today. Is that fine with everyone?
Sure. Sure, no problem.
And just try to upload your original code right after the class. Okay.
Okay.
Sabal will be covering with you is break and continue statements. So yeah.
In loops, you can
Just 1 second, Sabal. Let me just specify this. Let me just create a new file, and then we can. Let's name it break continue. Can everyone just make this? And while they're making this, Sabal, you can just explain to them.
So basically, in while and for loops, you have keywords in Python known as as Akam just said, break and continue. So now, what exactly do these functions do? So they both have separate functionality. So Akam, could you just write like a for loop statement for printing out the first 5 numbers, since, or you could just give me control. Yeah. So Akam is just gonna write so I'll just with this, so just take this as an example. So I'll be demonstrating so first of all, we'll start with break. So you normally use, as the name itself suggests, break is normally used for breaking the loop or interrupting the loop. So that can be used in many cases. For example, you want to if a certain condition is specified. So for example, you can write if I is equal to 2. So if you want to check if I is 2, if the value of I is 2, then you want to just break out of the loop. Does everyone get that?
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Yes.
Not much.
Yes.
I did not guess it. I mean, I did not understand correctly.
So Sabad, yeah, you can just maybe explain in a bit more detail, or do you want me to?
I'll explain it. So basically, what break does is it exits the loop. Okay. So it exits the loop at any time. So whenever you specify, so this is most particularly helpful when you're specifying conditions in a loop. So when you get to more advanced programs, you'll inside loops you'll put conditions. So with each condition you do something. So in this case, we can specify a condition inside the loop which says if I is equal to I think 2. For example, just take it as 2. Then you will break out of the loop.
So basically, basically one thing with the what this does is if it's in an if else statement, then it just goes out of the nearest for loop. So maybe I'll just print this. So it just breaks out the nearest loop it is currently in. So let's run this and see what happens. So as you can see, as I would said, right after it prints 2, it breaks, meaning it gets out of the loop.
Navneet, is that more clear, or like?
Yes, that's more clear. Thank you.
That's simple enough. Sabal, maybe you want to cover continuous statements now.
Yeah. Okay. So now after this, a second keyword used is known as continue. Now, what exactly does the continue statement do? So what the continue statement does is it skips an iteration. So each time a loop runs, it is known as an iteration. So so what the continue statement does is it skips that particular iteration whenever you mention it. So for example, you say so you do print I. So Akam, could you just like remove the if statement, and then you do so you do print I and then you do continue. So as you will see that all the numbers will not be printed. Akam, could you just do that?
Before the print statement, right?
Yeah.
So as you can see, it'll even highlight it saying this code is unreachable, because every time it even tries to access it, the continue statement says, I want you to go to the top. I do not want you to go to this part. Or maybe Shabbat, do you just want me to explain like another form of
I
continue?
think you can further explain
Skip
it.
an iteration. Do you want me to maybe cover that?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay, so say last time we just wanted to end at 2, right? But say we don't want to print 2 at all. That's we just want to skip 2 and just print everything else. So what we can do here is we can specify an if statement saying if I is equal, and we have to do it before the print statement. So if I is equal to 2, then we want to continue, right? So this is basically saying it. We don't want to print 2. I want you to print everything else. But when I reaches 2, you just want to go back up and add 1 and then do the rest of the code. So let's run this. And as you can see, it's going to do everything except for 5. It's going to print 1, 3, 4, but it's not going to print, it's going to print everything except for 2. So that's basically another example of using continue statements.
So it basically skips that iteration.
Yeah, exactly. So those are basically continue statements, break and continue statements. They're pretty simple. Does anyone have any questions on these? Because then we might get on to the next and major part of the lesson.
No, we don't have any questions.
I don't think so. When I ran the break part, it worked.
Okay, so Kriti, what was the code you wrote?
So Kriti, you can just share your screen, I think.
Fine, I can just type her code in the chat. That might just be more efficient.
I think even with the proper formatting stuff, I think it'll be easier if you share the screens faster and better.
She can send a screenshot.
I don't think so. I can share my screen.
Oh wait, so I have a better idea. On the forum, we made a post call. We made a post called questions. So maybe Sukriti, you can just paste the code there, and then we can just check what the issue is. Is that fine? Maybe Sabat can just cover it. Is that fine, Sukriti?
Yeah, I guess. Just give me one more minute. I'll just try one thing and then come back. Yeah.
So right now, Sukriti, is it fine if you can just do it in a second? Because then, because we just want to introduce a challenge exercise to everyone.
Yeah, sure, of course.
So I'll just be sharing my screen, and Sabad, you can explain the challenge exercise. So the first thing I want everyone to do is I want you to go to PyCharm, and I want everyone to create a project. And yeah, let me just open my PyCharm, and I want everyone to call it Conditionals Progress Check. I'll put it here, Conditionals Progress Check. Make a project. Sorry, call that. So can everyone just do that? And I made one already, and I'll open it. Let me just share my screen. Here you go. And everyone just make a file called solution. And just, I can type this in chat later on and everyone can just put this at the top of their code. But for now, everyone just write conditionals. Please create this project in this file. Just paste this at the top of your code. Can you just raise your hand using the Zoom feature when you're done? Just so we can know that you have done. Please do that.
It's conditionals. Okay.
Okay, it's in the chat. And for the file, just make a file called solution. So Kriti, have you figured out your issue?
Not yet.
So Kriti, just paste your code into the forum post. There, me and Sabat can just check it and just tell you what the issue might be.
Okay, just now or should I do this first?
You can just do it now because while everyone's just making the file, you can just do it now.
Okay, 1 second.
I'm just on the forum, so I'll be able to see when you upload it. Has everyone else created this project and file?
Yes, we have created, but it's saying creating virtual environment, so it's taking time.
Oh, okay, that's fine. For right now, we're just going to be explaining something. Sabat, can you just take over and explain?
Oh, okay.
Just do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So here you go.
So in this program, we'll basically be making a rock paper scissors game. So does everyone know the traditional rock paper scissors game and how we play it?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be making that, but in Python. So in this, so basically we've given you the steps, which are as follows. So you have to introduce to the user what the code achieves, basically using the time.sleep, etc., etc. Using time.sleep library, just as we did for the similarly to what we did for the guessing game. Then you generate a random number between 1 to 3. So so that since there are only 3 options in the rock paper scissors game, is rock paper and scissors, right? So That's why we only need three options to be generated. Then you have to using now in this we won't be telling you everything how you should do this, as we want to see how we want to see like how you guys think. So we won't be actually telling you the trick in this, since there is a particular trick in this program which you may be able to utilize. um yeah so then using if statements, you'll assign a different variable based on what the result is. So you'll then
So who wins the round? What do you mean?
Basically, obviously, if you do rock and someone else does paper, they win the round. Just like generally
Yeah. Okay.
round.
yeah, okay.
Could you repeat the whole game?
Okay, it's fine. Somebody you can just repeat it.
Sorry.
Okay. It's basically what's written on the chat, but it's basically that. So
Yeah.
basically we'll have a rock paper scissors game, and
So it's either the computer or the user, right?
it's the computer versus the user.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I'll just explain it again, maybe in a in a more simple way. So basically, you're going to start by importing the libraries, introducing the user to what the code achieves. Then you're going to generate a random number between 1 and 3, and assign a different variable assign a different variable based on what the result is. Meaning, if it's 1, then you can put rock. If it's 2, you can put scissors. Blah blah blah. Then let the user put the input of rock paper scissors. Then you're going to use if statements to return who wins the round, meaning who wins. And if the round is a draw, then add a point to everyone scores. And using either while or for loops, continue this until someone gets to 3 points. Then, if the specific round is a draw, not the overall thing, do not add a point to anyone's scores. And as an extension, you can allow the user to restart and play again. Is that okay with everyone? That's just a more simpler way. You can review it if you want and just ask us if you have any questions. But is everyone okay with this?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So you guys, I'll just paste this into the chat, and yeah, I'll just paste this into the chat, and then you guys can copy it, put it at the top of your code, and then we can begin.
Okay. Where are you going to put this in the Zoom chat?
Yeah, I just put in the Zoom chat. Top.
Okay.
Just check it.
Okay.
In case you have any questions, ask us. Don't ask us like exactly how to do it, but in case you have any conceptual questions or anything, please just feel free to ask.
Yeah. I can just I may just well just give you guys a bit of a hint. So in I was telling you I was talking to you about like a particular trick, right? So in one of the previous programs that we have done, we actually have used that particular trick. So um that's all I'm gonna say.
So you guys can work on it for the rest of the lesson, and in case you guys don't finish, you guys can work on it as homework. And we're going to be actually covering. We're gonna actually be covering the solution to this next class.
If you have any doubts, just ask us.